Hey, everybody, welcome to the Ronline Report as we are just days away from the Chicago. Oh, I got to do that again. Chicago. 1, 2, 3.
Tampa Pro.
Yeah. Hey, everybody, welcome to Ronline Report. We are just days away from the Tampa Pro. And this man right here is definitely one of the favorites for the Classic Physique division. Please welcome, all the way from Long Island, New York, the glorious Steve Laureus. What is up, Steve?
Well, thank you so much, Ron, for having me. I know it's been a long time. You always give me such a great interview, so I'm pretty excited about this whole thing today. So thank you, and thank you so much, MD, for having me as well.
Yeah, because a lot of viewers have short memories, they really do. Like if you haven't competed in 6 months, they're like, "Who's that?" So let me refresh your memories, guys. Steve, you have not done a lot of shows. It's when I looked at the contest record, I'm like, "Is that it?" So your debut was the Pittsburgh Pro in 2018. You won that. Then a couple weeks later, you go to New York Pro, but you didn't do Classic because somebody that your coach was working with was in Classic. So you went 212. Let's skip right past that. It was not a good idea. But then you go to the Olympia, 7th place in your first Olympia. Pretty darn good. 2019 Arnold Classic. This was a very important show for Classic Physique. You probably changed the way Classic Physique was judged from moving forward from that point on. Because George the Bull Peterson III, a lot of people said that's really not bodybuilding. That's not Classic. He's just a bodybuilder who can make the weight. Whereas Steve Laureus got that tiny little waist. It's just looked like a trophy. You're basically the poster boy for Classic Physique. The proportions, the shape, the symmetry, all the stuff they're looking for. You took 2nd place. It was very, very debatable. And a lot of people thought you had that show. And but like I said, you did only one more show after that. We've only seen you one more time, and that was early March last year. It was actually the weekend where before that weekend, everyone was like, COVID, what the hell's that? No big deal. And after that weekend, COVID just consumed the world's attention.
Shuts everything down, I know.
And, so that was it. You were the front runner. You were favorite going into that Arnold because you had been arguably, a very, very close second the year before. You took 3rd behind Alex Tumbernero and Terrence Ruffin, who went on to take 2nd place at the Olympia. These rough diesels, no joke. But refresh everyone's. Let's get into what COVID was a rough time for everybody, but it was definitely. I shouldn't say was. It's still going on. Obviously, it's still very much going on. But you were hit much more personally than a lot of people. Can you tell people what happened?
Yes. Well, unfortunately, I've lost my father. That same year, and I've lost another family member, which is an uncle, and it was very, very hard for me to get back into reality because my dad and I had a very, very close relationship, so pretty much we were pretty tight,
Yeah.
So that really did a number on me, as especially certain situations, when it comes down to I'm a grown man, but my father's always been that major person in my life that always makes sure that I do the right thing and checking up on me every day,
Yeah.
So just not knowing that I'm not going to have that. So it was a little hard, but I just needed to just get back into reality, man, and just get out there and show my face again to the sport and make the improvements that I needed to come back and compete again.
Yeah. Can I ask, did they both pass away from COVID?
Yes.
Wow.
My father passed away from COVID, and also my uncle as well.
Yeah, I don't want to dig too much into it, but I know when people were in hospitals, they weren't letting family members see them because of the situation with quarantine, and they didn't want anyone getting infected. Was that the case with your dad, where you couldn't see him toward the end?
Well, that night when he passed away,
Yeah.
I think they only had 97 cases in New York that night.
Okay.
So there were it was starting to slow down. I think that that big hump we had, we're starting to get over the hump. So they allowed the family to go in and see him,
Yeah.
and see his face, and the funeral was a little harder because they only allowed like 10 people to come to the funeral. But but at the hospital, it worked out fine to let us in,
Yeah, I mean, I saw people, I saw videos of like ICU nurses holding up phones and FaceTiming families. It was just terrible because they wouldn't allow them in there. Training situation, gyms were shut down. You're normally at Bev and Steve's, right?
Yes. I used to be at Bev's up until I moved. You
Right.
know, it's quite a ride for me now to go there and train. So
Hmm.
I've been pretty local now. I'm training here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much of 2020 were you training like at a home gym, or a lot of people couldn't get in anywhere? Were you training at some gym, or what were you doing for training when all the gyms were shut down?
Uh, Technically, the gym that I train at now, it's called ProFit,
Yeah.
and the owner, she was nice enough and generous enough to allow me to start training here and there.
Yeah.
But it was very risky. I was going there maybe 2 or 3 days a week. Then the very first week of August, when they make the announcement that the gyms will be opening again,
Yeah.
so I was able to go there and training late, because at that time I can avoid the crowd and train and get back into focus.
Yeah. So when you competed last, you are about 5'11" or so. Is that how tall you are?
Yes, 5'10", 5'10" and a half, just under 5'11".
So you have to weigh in at 215 in Classic Physique, correct?
Yes, 215.
So I remember one of the interviews we did recently. I shouldn't say recently, it's not recent, but I remember you still had room to grow. I think you were competing at like, I want to say like 200, 205 back
205,
then,
right?
205.
Yeah.
So you put some muscle on since then. Tell me how that's been going, or how that went, your off season.
My off season was probably the best off season I've had,
Hmm.
especially with the training. It's I feel like this time around I've used a lot of mental um, you know capacity just to really tap into uh, just like a different world. Just to train. I always believe that this is the year that I have to really make a standard. I have to set the standard. So
Yeah.
sorry, but I went from 45 pounds I think I put on this year
Wow.
in the off season.
Wow.
And I the prep was going well. So what I would say is that I got stuck at a certain weight for a while, like 235. I was very nervous about not making weight this year.
Yeah.
And I wasn't, as lean as I thought I would be around that weight.
Mm.
And I said to myself, I just need to find a different directive, a different solution, by working with someone that's going to lead me to the show, because I really want to win the show.
Yeah.
But I'm in a different. So we actually reached the level of conditioning. I would say 2 weeks ago.
Oh wow.
So it was rough dropping 30 pounds within like that fast.
Yeah.
But we're still getting better every day. Like this morning is the best I've looked.
Nice.
And we just the drying out phase started like today, so
Oh, boy.
we're gonna start
Wow.
getting
So,
rid of the water.
so you told me you got up to 255 this off season. Is that right?
Yes,
So
yes.
what was your previous high in the off season before this?
Last year when I competed at the Arnold,
Yeah.
my off season was only 229.
Wow. So,
Yeah,
geez, that's like
yeah,
26 pounds additional. Wow.
yeah.
So where do you feel like the new mass is mostly distributed, or is it even, or was there certain areas you really wanted to thicken up?
Uh, I didn't really, I didn't really train arms this year. It was not a priority, so I've been focusing a lot more on growing my chest, growing my back, and also growing my hamstrings. So I still need a little bit more work on, my glutes. So it's my fault. I said, I should have been training glutes years ago. So
I mean,
it's
how many
getting
guys? How
better.
many guys train their glutes though? We don't think you. You should think about it because they're being displayed. The judges are looking at them, but I think guys think, oh, that's for girls. I'm not going to train my glutes. Was that your thought process?
Yes, I never thought, and I just think just squatting and doing certain leg movements, you're definitely engaging the glutes as well. because they're all going to be, it's always going to be a secondary muscle group that you're working on.
Yeah.
But primarily you need to train your glutes, as much as you're training everything else. So that's the goal, is to improve more glutes, more calves, but everything else we improve on.
Yeah, because I mean,
Yeah.
that MD cover that you did, geez, it's been like 2 years now, I think. Wow.
Yes,
Wow.
yes.
That was a front double bicep. I think it was black. You were black and white, and I think it was like a bright color in the background. I'll have to find it so we can put it up. Man, that front double bicep was just deadly. That's your shot, dude. That's what, when you say you weren't doing your arms much, good, because they're done. Stick a fork in them. They don't need to get any better. Bicep peaks up to past your head. And yeah. So tell me about the coaching situation, because you just started working with somebody different for this show, which that's always exciting, because these days, who's your coach is always like one of my first questions.
Well, I'm working with a good friend. His name is Phil Viz. I actually was into, in a different, I didn't know I was going to do Tampa anymore. I didn't even want to announce it, because I said, I put all this effort into the prep. So I am 4 weeks out. I still need to drop a lot of size, and, to make the weight. And also I need to get a lot leaner. Yeah. So I just need a different directive. So I just messaged him, and he replied right away. He works with me. So we picked up where we left off from, where I was when I was working with Neil, sorry.
Yeah.
So Neil and I still have a good relationship, and, Neil is always going to be a mentor to me. Love Neil to death, but this show, I just needed, to find a different formula to just get me ready and prepare for the show. So, so far, everything is, every week, every day, we're getting better.
So what made you target Tampa in August rather than something earlier? Was this just when you finished you were at a certain point in your off season, you said, now it's time to start prep, or what made you decide on Tampa?
I didn't realize Tampa and Texas were like the last few shows left for the qualification. Yeah. So when I finally decided that I was going to do Tampa, I was about maybe 14 weeks out. Yeah. And then that was still cutting it very short. And I think Chicago would have been too soon for me if I would have done Chicago. And also I wanted to do Texas because of the competitors that was in it. There's two guys I wanted to compete against these guys, or one of them pulled out. So I'm very, very competitive.
Hold on. Who pulled out?
Brian Jones.
Oh, why did he pull out?
I don't know. He pulled out. He pulled out. So
is Logan the other guy?
No, Logan. Logan is doing Texas.
Yeah.
There's another guy that's doing the show. I think his what's this guy's name? Very good legs. He did nationals last year. I think he won nationals, or don't remember his name, but I think it was competitive enough. And then I just wanted to do the show because I wanted to go against these two guys. And it's just me. It's just like yeah.
It's your division, the Classic Physique, is it's all divisions are tough, but I think one thing that makes yours more challenging is it's such a new division. Every few shows, there's somebody that I never heard of ever. Lord Brian Jones, Lord Jones, Chicago Pro last year. I never heard that guy's name in my life. People say Brian Jones, like, who's that? And I remember I did a preview of the show, I think with Giles, and didn't even mention him because I'm like, I've never heard of him. He probably sucks. Of course, then he shows up and there's like 30 guys and he blows everybody away. And we had a guy last weekend at the Chicago Pro, this Darwin guy from Columbia originally. Very good. You have so much talent coming into your division. For you to stay at the top, it's not easy. It's not like open. There's not that much great new talent coming in at the Olympia level. It's a lot of the usual suspects year after year for a while. But Classic, I feel like
it's different. It's
more exciting because, man, you guys, it's somebody new or a few new people all the time that are really, really good.
Yes, that is true. The division got a lot harder, a lot more competitive. especially in the past 2 years. There's new faces coming all the time, you know. But I love it, you know. I just feel like you know, it just pushes you as a person, you know, to tap into the potentials that you didn't believe you have.
Yeah.
You know, just make you work harder, you know, just to improve and make the improvements that you needed. So I I I'm very happy for the show. I'm very happy to come back and, you know, just show you guys my new look and just have fun, you know.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
the one thing I always wanted to see from you, and I saw it that Arnold with George in 2019, you were very, very close. Just really crisp, lean, dry condition. I feel like if you bring that, and I've said this, there's a few people I said, people with awesome shape and the tiny waist and everything, all you got to do is show up just shredded and it's over. I mean, it's a look it's almost impossible to beat because those are God-given proportions that you've maximized through your training and your diet and all that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That
I'm
was just
waiting. I
my
want to see this.
that was my ultimate you know, goal, is to come in very lean for the show. So I will be, you know, as far as, you know, conditioning, starting from like last week and until this week, even this morning, you know, there's nothing left to come off. You
Mm,
know, we and legs are very dry enough now too, and the size is there as well.
yeah,
So we're ready to rock. We're ready to do this, man, you know?
yeah. So I'm jumping way ahead time-wise, but if you find yourself really struggling to make weight because you're putting on new muscle tissue, could we possibly see you in the open someday?
Possibly,
Mm,
yes. You know, possibly because, you know, I um it was a little bit hard, you know, to actually come down. You know, my body got into certain weight. It was just very, very hard to come down. You know, it's especially around 230-ish. You know, it was like I was getting leaner and I was just stuck at that weight for a while. You know, and then I said maybe it's just because, you know, I don't want to go down that low anymore.
mm,
And it's just letting me know that I need to grow more, you know?
yeah. Yeah, it's
So
because you know you were 40 pounds over the limit. You had to drop. You're going down 40 pounds from your off season. What we're going to see you weigh in at. You're going to weigh in Thursday. Probably carve up a couple pounds after that, I'm sure. But you know, it's like Flex Lewis had to compete at 212, even though we saw him many, many times the last probably 3 or 4 times that he won the 212 Olympia. At about a month out, he'd be like 225 or so, and wow, he could have stepped on stage like that. Did you hit a point, you know, maybe a couple weeks ago where you said I could step on stage now, but I'm 15 pounds over?
no, I would say I could have stepped on stage when I was maybe 224, 223-ish,
Oh,
you know.
still, yeah.
So maybe it's just maybe I'm a little over my head now, but if Flex Lewis was pushing that hard, then I guess I have a couple more years left in. You
I
know.
mean, you can do it.
So
You said you
yeah,
were to like 219 right now.
yes, yes.
Yeah, so you just have 4 pounds to drop, and you haven't tried to drop any water or anything yet, really, yet. So yeah, you'll be all set. You'll be all set, man. So it must be exciting because you haven't been on stage since, gee, it's been over a year and a half now. It's been almost exactly a year and a half by the time you get to Tampa since you've been on stage. Have you missed it? Has it been tough for you to see all these other shows? And you know, did you have that FOMO? Like, man, I could have beat that guy, or man, I wish I was in that show.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. There's a lot of shows I've seen this year. You know, I said, man, I wish I was out there competing against these guys. And
Mm,
you know, when it comes to bodybuilding, you know, I always believe I got nothing to lose. You know, even though I haven't done that many shows, I'm not super critique about certain things. I'm not going to, just because, you know, I got third last year at the Arnold or the year before, you know, second place. You know, it doesn't stop me from moving forward. It doesn't mess with my mind. You know, actually, I just want to get better, and I just love that. You know,
right on.
so I don't like losing. You know, I think it's probably the only sport. You know, um, back then, you know, like any other sports, I like to win. I have a very high chance of winning
Yeah.
a lot of things I've done, but this is making me so much more, it makes me work harder than anything else, because such an individual sport. So you gotta push every single day around the clock, to be better.
Yeah, you just mentioned the Arnold. Did you apply for the Arnold? I was wondering why when I saw the Arnold list came out, I'm like, I wonder why Steve didn't do the Arnold or try to get to the.
I'm planning on doing the Arnold next year when it goes back to schedule.
Yeah.
The reason why I skipped out the Arnold this year is because I feel like it was so close to the Olympia.
Yeah.
I just need, to get over Tampa first,
Right.
and then if everything goes well the way we're planning on to, so which I believe it will.
Yeah.
We have enough time in our hands to make improvements. That's 10 weeks I have. 9 or 10 weeks, I think, to still get better and still make improvements. I don't want to peak again, and like a week or two before and then peak again for the Olympia. I just think with flying and doing everything, it's just, even the guys who's going to do that show, it's very risky,
Yeah.
to do a show that close to, for the bigger show.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to chase a Arnold Classic title to get a better place for the Olympia,
Right.
which I know I can do the Arnold the following year.
Yeah, I mean, it's for anyone that hasn't really competed and gone to that level where that peaking process, it's the dehydration, it's just even the competition day itself, it's all that posing. People don't understand. I was talking to Ian Valier. He's also doing Tampa, and people who are at home watching, they don't understand how hard it is to be up there on stage for sometimes 30 minutes while the judge, especially if Weinberger's a head judge, you're up there for a while and you're going to be in a lot of comparisons. I think it's Tyler. I think Tyler might be known for this show.
He works people to death.
You think you're done, and then it's like he'll move one guy and then all over again. Frontal bicep, front left. Oh my God. Yeah. It's so that the dehydration, all that contest day is just, it's like 100 workouts in one day, basically. And
I know.
So to do that, and then to your body has to sort of recover from that, and then to try to do it all over again, 12 days later. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Well, Steve would be the head judge at Tampa. I think it's him and Tyler.
Okay.
So I've been taking my time to really work on posing by, get my stamina and endurance, out there. I'll be ready because I know he will be the head judge, and Tyler will be one of the head judges as well. So I wanted to be prepared, to not go out there and fading and stuff like that, can't hold the poses. And so I'm ready to go.
Yeah. And I think it's even more important in Classic because presentation, on the score sheet, you wouldn't know the difference, but I do believe when they're judging Classic, they expect more from you in terms of presentation than they do the open guys. They expect you to be better with your transitions, to never relax. None of you have guts to hang out, but if you did, because you saw that, I saw that a lot, like Rolly, and there's a couple guys when you get really, obviously we've seen it with Phil at the last couple Olympias, when people get, now it's a hernia, that's a whole other situation, but when you're really exhausted and that's, you've been posing for like a half hour straight, trying to keep your midsection in, good Lord, lucky for you don't have a midsection, but what'd you say your waist was, like 28 inches when you dieted down?
Yes. It's, I was just lucky, I guess, but yeah.
Well, nobody in Classic has a gut. You guys all have little
small waist.
Yeah. Or else you wouldn't be where you are. You wouldn't be at this level. Yeah. You would have. That's a whole other division for the waistlines. But man, so, we haven't seen you on stage in so long. What are we going to see that's different? Condition obviously is improved. What areas are we going to immediately notice? Am I going to see when you step out there and say, oh, wow, he brought up this, he brought up that?
Well, the side chest always been the number one pose out of all the mandatory poses that I was never comfortable enough my arms were very long. And being in that position doing, because my waist is small, my arms are long, and my legs are big. So being on that twisting position by showing my chest, I've never been confident with it because I feel like I needed more size from chest to back density.
Yeah.
And it's a pose that I feel like I always get hurt in that pose. So this time around, I said, I'm going to make the side chest one of my best pose. And I improved so much in the side chest. Is one of my favorite. I actually prefer it more than my front double bicep now.
Wow. That's a bold statement.
Yeah. So I've definitely worked a lot in my side chest. The abdominals and thighs was the second pose that I know I didn't have the stamina to hold it, hard enough, and I needed to build my abs better. Yeah. I spent a lot of time this year to make sure that this doesn't happen. These two poses, I don't want to lose these poses to anybody in Tampa. So when I knew that Brian Jones was doing the show, I knew his side chest is his best pose. Yeah. I said, I'm going to go out there and go against this guy. And I said, the side chest, my side chest and his side chest, is going to be a battle. So I'm going to make sure I come in ready for whoever shows up in Tampa. So it's basically the big difference. You will notice a difference on the side chest and the abdominals and thighs when I go out there.
Wow. Did you say Brian dropped out of Tampa?
Yes. I don't know if it's true, but I heard it from two people. But
I hope not. Not because I wanted to be. I like to see battles. I want to see every show. I want to see awesome lineups. It's exciting. You're awesome. You're great. But if you're like the only top level guy and it's like you and everybody else, it's not that exciting. It's like, okay, Steve's going to win. Let's see who can be second now. It's like when Ronnie was dominating. It was cool to see him because he was freakish. But it was always like, as soon as he walked out, it's like, okay, he's going to win again now. Who do you think's going to be second? It was from there.
Right. So yeah.
I hope he gets some good competition because also that makes your win that much more, gives it a lot more credibility. People say, well,
credibility. Yes.
Yeah. Say, well, he beat Brian Jones. He beat this guy. He beat that. And those are all, top level guys. So yeah, but I'm really looking forward to see you again. It seems like it's been this COVID time. It seemed like it's been like 5-6 years. It's only been like a year and a half.
It's been a year and a half, but trust me, if you're not active and, people just seems to just not mention your name either. Yeah. But I don't care about that. It's, I just have to prove myself to my fans and, to the judges, and, to the IFBB Pro League. So I just have to come out there and put on a good show. I have my whole family coming this time around. I have some friends coming down. So we trying to get these tickets, to be selling. And we are ready. So far it's like, I'm very excited. It's probably the best showing I'm going to have,
Awesome, man. Cool. Well, I want to let everyone know, if you guys can't make it to Tampa for the show, Tim Gardner Productions is the website. You can get the pay-per-view, support the pay-per-view because there is no streaming allowed. People are getting busted left and right at these things trying to stream with their phones and they're getting kicked out. I love it. Sorry, guys. But that's why there's a pay-per-view. So support the show. You can see Steve on pay-per-view. We're doing a play-by-play Friday and Saturday, morning and evening for all the divisions. musculardevelopment.com, Noble Forum, our YouTube channel. You see Steve, you see all the open. Geez, there's every class now. I didn't even want to run through all the classes. There's like 11 classes now. But you go up, I think you're on the first day. You're on Friday, right?
Friday, yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
I think I'm group 2, I think. Friday.
Yeah. I got crappy notes. Look at me. Yeah, Friday you are on in group 2. That's theoretically going to start at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. And then your finals for group 2. Wow, 3:30.
I was actually surprised that it was that fast, like, early afternoon. I thought it was going to be around like 6 p.m. or 7 o'clock.
Usually, no, this show, he runs it early. It's you walk out of there, it's like still light and you can still go get dinner. It's awesome because you and I have both been in these shows where by the time it's over, everything's closed. You're like, struggling to find somewhere to eat, that's all we think about is where we're going to eat, right? But
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. I know this is a random question, but when the shows are over, what's the first thing you go for? Is it pizza? Is it cookies? What's the one thing you really want to have after a show?
I was never a cookie person, but I think this time around I can't wait to have some cookies. I just don't know why. I'm planning on having pizza with my family as well, but more so Italian food because my girl family is Italian, so they're gonna prepare some good Italian food for me. So I'm super excited, to to eat something really really good
Yeah.
after the show.
See, you might be 255 by Sunday.
Let's hope not.
No, that'd be
You know,
that'll be dangerous. Don't do that. Anyway, yeah, so excited to see you back up there again. It's been a long time. You're one of the best Classic Physique pros in the sport, and you've been missed at these shows. Like, where's Steve? Where's Steve? It's like Steve should be right there between that guy and that guy, but where is he? It's been in Long Island. He's been busy. He's been improving. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the new and improved Steve Laureus. It's been a while. Cool.
well, I'm looking at the new improved run right in front of me right now. I'm
Yeah.
actually very, very surprised.
52
look
years
at
young
those-
next month.
Look at those delts, man.
Yeah, they're coming
So
back.
you ready to step on stage? You look like you're about a week out. So
I am a week out from the pool party, but I told you before the weather, if it rains, I'm so screwed. My show, the pool party, is canceled. Ugh. Have you ever been
Yeah,
to the
man,
Have you ever been to those pool
you're
parties?
looking phenomenal, Ron. Good job, man. You look great.
Not bad for an old man. Cool, man. I appreciate that, Steve. So yeah, I don't know who's going to be in the show, but I'm definitely looking forward to seeing you battle whoever shows up. Best man will win. Maybe it's going to be you. Chances are pretty high it's going to be you. You've done very, very well in the past. So yeah, that's it, man. Awesome talking to you. Appreciate you taking the time here on a Sunday. Less than a week out. You're flying out what day?
Tuesday.
Oh, wow.
I'll be in Florida Tuesday early. I'll
Oh,
be
wow.
there 8 a.m. in the morning. I'll be there because my flight is about 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I will see you there. Thanks for taking the time.
All right.
All right,
All right,
guys.
brother.
That's it. Check him out this weekend on stage, Tampa Pro, Friday, Classic Physique, Steve Laureus. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.